friends, I'm feeling excited to present this episode. As much as I love Army Man who secure our nation from external attacks, so will be our today's discussion on securing an organization against outsider cyber attack. In my previous talk, we discussed on a closed loop system of trust and security amongst set number of participants. That was blockchain. But what about the whole internet worldwide? You see, on one hand, various smart gadgets has helped us giving great comfort, and technologies with AI, machine learning are set to play a crucial role in all sectors. But the flip side is there is also an enormous challenge in protecting our data and integrity of computing assets. Do you agree? You see, there are lots of data in our phones, laptops, like our daily schedules, private photos, text, emails, banking password that we do not want to share it with strangers. How safe is it and what we can do to make it safe? Let's discuss in this series of SWAM with native futuristic technologies. First of all, we will discuss on various cyber attacks, followed by my motto of ethical hacking, and then I will share some best tips for cyber security. So, what is a cyber attack? To know, cyber attack is a digital attack, a single or more done by cyber criminals using one or more computers to digitally attack a single or more computers or network. Consequently, it can delete or disable your computers and steal data or use the breached computer as a launch point for other attack. Now, such cyber attack can be executed from anywhere in the world using various attack strategies. In such a scenario, vulnerabilities on the system from virtual space is creating the havoc. A motive behind a cyber attack could be causing financial loss to the target or blackmailing or demanding ransom. Also, another reason could be damaging reputation of targeted or information theft and manipulating data or even business continuity or creating chaos by disrupting official infrastructure. You see, information leaks, security breaches, hacks, common data theft and other cyber attacks are becoming more common, and I say cyber attack is bound to happen with a consistent connections on internet. I read somewhere there's a strange comforting knowing that no matter what happens today the sun will rise again tomorrow. So, rather than being scared or ignoring cyber attacks, we should make a security culture and we should ensure that our computer systems via internet resilience to them with computer security techniques like enabling firewalls, secure password, say no to phishing, using antivirus regular updates and so on. You see, the real risk is either inaction or not knowing what are you doing. So let's deep dive into the subject. Foremost, kindly note that cybersecurity, which is a broader subject that includes many networks and information security mechanisms such as data security, digital forensics, ethical hacking and many more. Now, let us understand some types of cyber attacks just for understanding and trying to get into the shoes of a hacker. First, malware attack. It refers to viruses including worms, spyware, ransomware, adware and trojans. To understand the differences, Adware is a software that displays advertising content such as banners on a user screen. The Trojan virus disguises itself as a legitimate software, whereas ransomware blocks the access to the network's key components, while spyware is a software that steals all your confidential data without your knowledge. Second type is phishing attacks, which is a social engineering attack wherein an attacker impersonates to be a trusted contact and sends the victim fake mails. Unaware of this, the victim opens the mail and clicks on the malicious link or opens the mail's attachment. By doing so, attackers gain access to confidential information and account credentials. Third could be password attack like brute force attack, dictionary attacks and keylogger attacks, which is a form of an attack wherein an attacker cracks your password with the various programs and password cracking tools like Aircrack, Hashcat, Kane, John the Ripper, etc. Next is MITM, that is man in the middle attack, in which an attacker comes in between a two-party communication, that is, the attacker hijacks the session between a client and host. Here, the client-server communication gets cut off and instead the communication line goes through the hacker, and this is how hackers steal and manipulate data. Fifth type could be SQL, that is structured query language injection attack. At a high level, it occurs on a database-driven website when the hacker manipulates a standard SQL query. It is carried by injecting a malicious code into targeted website search box, thereby making the server reveal crucial information, thereby an attacker being able to view, edit, delete the tables in their databases. Worst will be, and attackers can also gain administrative rights through this. Another one is a denial of service attack, wherein attackers target systems, servers, or networks and flood them with traffic to exhaust their resources and bandwidth. When this happens, catering to the incoming request becomes overwhelming for the servers, resulting in the website it hosts either shut down or slow down. This leaves the legitimate request unattended. Seventh case can be of cryptojacking, where a hacker may use online ads with JavaScript code, which is crypto mining code, wherein working in the background. Talking next is an insider threat. It does not involve any third party, but an insider who could be an individual from within the organization who knows everything about it. Another case can be a zero-day exploit, which typically happens after the announcement of a network vulnerability and has a confusion everywhere. As a awareness campaign for the users, the vendor notifies the vulnerability. However, this news also reaches the attackers. Depending on the vulnerability, the vendor or developer could take any amount of time to fix the issue. Meanwhile, the attackers exploit the vulnerability even before a patch or solution is implemented for it. Next type of a cyber attack scenario could be aware of a watering hole attack, wherein the victim is a particular group of an organization, region, etc. In such a hack, the attacker targets websites which are frequently used by the targeted group. The attackers infect these websites with malware, which infects the victim's system. The malware in such an attack targets the user's personal information, and possibly the hacker may take remote access to the infected computer. Oh my god, those are some types of cyber attacks in reality. But let me narrow down my discussion today on what I professionally wish to become, namely ethical hacker. Yes, don't be scared if the chore or thief, that's also a police or a CID, and I will be there at your service trying to save you from evils. How? Let's understand the basics. Well, theoretically speaking, hacking is an attempt to exploit a computer system or a private network inside a computer. Simply put it as the unauthorized access to or control over computer network security systems for some elect purpose, and such malicious computer hackers are now commonly known as hacktivists. Since they are skilled programmers who gain unauthorized access to systems by exploiting vulnerabilities, such hacktivists' goal may be achieved while using techniques to guess passwords, penetrate networks, or disrupt services. For the most part, malicious or unethical hacking is driven by the desire to gain valuable information or money. However, not every hacking is injurious. There is something called as ethical hacking, which is the second sort of hacking. You may be asking yourself, what is ethical hacking? What do they do? And why does it matter? To understand this, let's first understand the variety of hacker types you will see around the internet. First, let's begin on a positive note with white hat hackers. These are talented, good individuals when it comes to helping against a cyber attack when on the dark web. White hat hackers help the government and corporations by running penetration tests and uncovering security issues with due permissions. They hack into your system to detect loopholes and help you remove viruses and malware, thereby protecting against black hat hackers and other online crooks. So, here's the second type, who is black hat hackers. They are main source of most cyber crimes on the internet. Most of the time, the agenda of black hat hackers is just money. These hackers look for flaws in individual computers, in businesses, and typically finance systems. Then, they can hack into your network and gain access to your personal, business, and financial information by misusing any flaws in the system they find. Thus, they are knowledgeable hacktivists but putting their knowledge to bad use. In between two is a third type known as grey hat hackers. They are known not to use their skills for personal gain, but they have both noble and evil objectives for using their computer skills. For instance, a hacker who hacks into, let's say, your mobile and finds some vulnerability may leak it over the internet for fun or just show off his over-smart skills. However, as soon as these hackers put their hacking skills for personal gains by demanding money, they become black hat hackers. Amongst about 3 broad types, of course you all will love white hat hackers, but I'd also like to add another hacker type, that is elite hacker. It's because he's the one who will be the first to know about any new vulnerabilities that have been discovered. Well, there are few other types like red hat hacker, blue hat hacker, and others, but let's not overstretch for valuable time, as I believe you got an idea about variety of hackers beyond the vulnerable black hat villain. So now, let's discuss on my subject of interest and service, that is ethical hacking. To begin with, let me highlight what skills we need to have a good ethical hacker. The number one skill is basic computer environment like operating systems such as Linux, Windows, Macintosh, Unix, etc. and web applications. Then comes networking knowledge about DNS, private and public IP, then IPv4, IPv6, subnetting, routers and switches, NAT, DHCP, VLAN, OSI model and so on. Just to admit, I am still learning and above are part of my course as I am deeply pursuing an ethical hacking. Another important skill I believe is programming language like Python, JavaScript, SQL and few other core. Now you may ask me why coding is important to an ethical hacker. Well, I say programming is all about the flow of data that we can feed into a program for correct interpretation. A program has its own data, and of this machine data can be combined to represent ideas and provide to use both the program and the user. Hope it's clear. In addition, needless to say, a security concept like PKI, that is Public Key Infrastructure, SSL, that is Secured Sockets Layer, and IDS, that is Intrusion Detection System, etc. And such technologies must be clear for this service of protecting against someone's digital asset. Similarly, reverse engineering basic needs to be clear as it is another thing in this virtualization for safe testing and referring our hacks with good logic for resolving issues. Not the least, database knowledge and cryptography will be beneficial. If some of you are planning to work as an ethical hacker, I wish you to do good and be good. Now someone may ask me what hardware like a laptop or RAM should I use? Okay, I can give you some hint on this. It is recommended to have at least 16 GB RAM to enable smooth running. But my advice will be to have a 32 GB RAM and any branded laptop like HP, Samsung, iMac, Lenovo, etc. with CPU iCore 5 and above. By now, the importance of ethical hacking is obvious. So let's understand some of the different types of ethical hacking scenarios, if not all. Few examples may be password security evaluation and testing. Then, to verify the network security settings as well as the degree of data administration privileges are up to date. Another could be penetration test, which should be performed on every software update or patch. Also, as discussed earlier, to prevent the eavesdropping of data, there could be a need for accuracy of authentication procedures to ensure that applications are protected by security measures that secure organization and user data. Another case could be steps to prevent denial of service attacks. Similarly, not the least, an examination of the effectiveness of network anti-intrusion measures. To make it more clear, let us now distinguish among types of ethical hacking. First, web application hacking. In this, visual Chrome browser of a program is attacked as the URI is manipulated or elements of HTTP other than those included in the URI collaborate within the web application hacking. Next, we talk about system hacking. You see, hackers may get unauthorized data by access to a computer network against which IT security guy can protect themselves from these threats using password cracking, backdoors, malicious software creation and packet sniffing. Next is web server hacking. In this, a real-time web data is generated by a server running a software application database. Some of the tactics attackers might use to compromise an online site can be ping floods, port scans, sniffer attacks, social engineering, etc. Next, we talk about hacking wireless networks. Typically, a hacker may use a nearby radio frequency transmitter and can easily overwhelm a wireless network. These hackers often utilize network sniffing to discover a wireless network's unique identity and mess with it. Last, not the least, let's talk about social engineering. What is it? Well, getting individuals to provide personal information is social engineering. Thieves may take advantage of your mistrust, and so be aware. Don't worry, there are good tools for ethical hackers to handle a job. After all, it's a process of using various types of tools or technology in the form of computer programs and scripts to get to unauthorized data for the security measures of a computer system or network. You see, broadly there are different sections in this work of ethical hacking, such as web hacking and penetrating, then exploiting writing with a high-level language like Python socket programming, and the other section is reverse engineering, which is an act of tempering software applications to make them work out the way so that they can instruct machine, hardware and software with this. Basically, hacking tools and software are nothing but just computer programs or a complex type of script designed by the developers that are used by hackers to know the weakness in computer OS, various web applications as well as servers and networks. Some of the most famous hacking tools in the market are Nmap, which is network mapper, Invictus, Intruder, Metasploit, Nuisance, Nikto, Kismet, NetSparker and many more. To explain few of them, Nmap is an open source security and a port scanner as well as a network exploitation tool, and we can use it for network inventory, monitoring host and service uptime, and managing service upgrade schedules. Next is Invicti, which is a web application security scanner hacking tool to find SQL injection, XSS and vulnerabilities in web applications or services automatically. Another hacking tool is Kismet, used for testing wireless networks and hacking of wireless LAN or war driving. It passively identifies networks and collects packages and detects non-beaconing and hidden networks with the help of data traffic. The list is big, but let me also highlight about a completely automated scanner known as Intruder. This tool searches for cybersecurity weaknesses, explains the risk found, and helps address them, and it offers over 9,000 security checks as on date. Now, if I have to play a role of an ethical hacker and come to protect the owners like you as individuals or enterprises or government at large, it becomes our duty to proactively measures to defend systems from hackers with malicious objectives. At a recent conference I attended amidst all corporate CISO experts at Taj President Hotel in Mumbai, One of the experts suggested me that if I'm working as an ethical hacker, I should think like a black hat hacker and attempt to duplicating strategies and actions of malicious attackers to find flaws, data breaches and other potential dangers and gain unauthorized access to a computer system, application or data, but with the permission of the owner. The idea behind this is penetration testing to look for the issues with firewalls potentially being misconfigured, problems with third-party applications or weaknesses in email servers and so on. So, if I have to ethically hack someone's computer system, what I will do? Are you interested in this? Okay, let me share. Before launching an attack, my first step will be to collect all necessary information about the organization system. Think of a robber trying to enter into someone's house and looking for some weak spot to enter in through. A window, if not a main door. Similarly, coming from a cyber side, I'll try to exploit the initial vulnerability of that organization using tools like Nmap, etc. and scan to try and exploit loopholes and gain access into the organization network. Once I get through some endpoints, I will try to patiently maintain my access for future attack by installing backdoors in the target system. So I may use Metasploit tool to help me with this. In this way, I'll attack at the right time to grab information, destroy some files, etc. But as I'm thinking like a hacker, I don't want to leave any evidence. So I will try cleaning tracks. In this way, my hacking work is done, but job is not done yet. Importantly, I will have to do my best reporting with documents of summary of my entire attack as an ethical hacker. My reporting will need to cover all such vulnerabilities that I observed so that my client can further protect his system from real crooks of outside hacktivists. To enlighten further, those who wish to enter into this profession of ethical hacking know that this profession adhere to 4 basic protocols. First and foremost, stay within the bounds of the law. Ensure that we perform a security evaluation only if we have the correct permissions. Second, determine the scope of the project size. Thereby we need to know the size or scale of the investigation. Third, report flaws in the system as our duty. Send a notification with full report to the owners or organization detailing any vulnerabilities with some solution that were detected during this evaluation. Fourth is to keep in mind that the sensitive information we are dealing with is very sensitive and we may be required to sign a non-disclosure agreement in addition to any extra terms and conditions imposed by the firm. I hope this discussion was useful so far, and I'm sure technical people are gaining insights on the latest advancement these days. Cybersecurity has its own automation tools like SOAR, which is the value of security orchestration, automation and response. It is for reducing the human effort of performing tasks, facilitating the fusion of data between multiple systems and offering guidelines when exploring new scenarios. However, it's essential to know that no single specific technology is associated with zero trust architecture. What is it, by the way? The zero trust is a security model based on the principle of maintaining strict access controls and not trusting anyone by default. It is a holistic approach to network security that incorporates a number of different principles and technologies. And I, as an ethical hacker, would like to endorse this. Before ending this long session so far, and I understand some of you might be saturated, so let me share some tips to prevent cyber attack. These are the tips you must implement to protect your systems and networks from a cyber attack. To begin with, change your passwords regularly and use strong alphanumeric passwords which are difficult to crack. But do not use the same password twice. Refrain from using too complicated passwords that you will tend to forget. Keep updating both your operating system and applications regularly. As a result, the black hat unethical hacker will face difficulty in his breaking into your system and will remove vulnerabilities that hackers tend to exploit. Remember, we discussed about some network security tools, so use them including firewall, intrusion prevention systems, access control, application security, etc. Next, I suggest to make a use of a VPN, that is virtual private network, as this will ensure that it encrypts the traffic between the VPN server and your device to confuse bad hackers. Also, secure your Wi-Fi networks and avoid using public Wi-Fi without using a VPN. Don't get carried away by unsolicited emails and avoid opening emails from unknown senders. Cross-check such unknown emails you receive. Next, it will be a good practice to regularly backing up your data on different media types, so even if there is a cyber attack, you can erase your system's data and restore it with a recently performed backup without getting panic or worry. Hope these tips were useful so far. Just few more before we wind up. Use two-factor or even multi-factor authentication for users to verify themselves, like a username and password, or more if required. Believe me, this proves to be a vital step to secure your account and good for your users also. Further, safeguard your mobile and install apps only from legitimate and trusted sources. Make sure to keep your device updated, as mobiles are also a cyber attack target. Not the least, employs our campaign of cybersecurity principles and to do and don't must be educated in case of any skeptical attack is discarded. With all together, the attempts of black hat hackers can be defeated and we ethical hackers will be happy for you. But abort tips are only selective and tested. In addition, the way I see cybersecurity is evolving rapidly and becoming one of the coming year's most important technology area. I can see some futuristic trends with many new development advances. For example, artificial intelligence powered by cybersecurity that will be explored to cope with the thousands of events taking place every second. Also, my other concern is increasing number of connected devices, that is IoT, that may become Internet of Vulnerable Things. For example, IoT cyber attackers might even connect household appliances like a refrigerator to gain access to networks, and from there go to access a computer or mobile phone where our valuable data could be stored. My advice for any cyber security strategy, it should always be include thorough audit of every device that can be connected or given access to the network. Oh, it's been a long discussion and some of you might be wondering when I will stop talking. So let me leave you with two most important tools when it comes to protecting against vulnerable attacks. These tools are your awareness and continuous education. This is an exciting topic and lot more to dig in this super interesting topic of ethical hacking for cybersecurity. But let me give you a break now. Thanks for your patience hearing, and I hope you got some insights and confidence of maintaining your organization health to stay away from virus, etc. But do not underestimate the need of a doctor who is an ethical hacker like me in the world of cybersecurity. Feel free to write me back on swamazon@gmail.com as given in the description below. And keep watching my YouTube channel for technology insights. And thanks for your support till the date. And do share this video with others for their benefits. And bye for now.